Imagine waking up to the sound of your 3-month-old daughter's gentle breathing finally steady for the first time all week, only to look out the window and see an attack dog lunging straight at her tiny swing, teeth bared, inches from her face. Yeah, that's exactly how my morning started in Willow Creek Estates, the perfect suburban paradise where the HOA president decided a baby's medical lifeline was a bigger threat than actual crime. And the woman giving the order? Patricia Patty Hargrove, smiling like she was handing out cookies at a bake sale while she basically signed my kid's death warrant. My name is Marcus Reed. I used to train K-9 units for private security firms that even the feds called in on tough cases. Now I'm just a compliance consultant trying to raise a family in what was supposed to be a quiet neighborhood. 2 years ago when we first moved in, Patty already had me labeled that aggressive new guy, because I installed security cameras on my own house. She called it spying on the community aesthetic. I could have fought it. I had the paperwork, the permits, everything. But Emily begged me to let it go. "We just want peace," she said. So I ripped the cameras down, smiled politely, and stayed silent. Big mistake. Because silence is exactly what people like Patty feed on. The swing was never about decoration. Our daughter Lily has a condition that makes her airway tighten when she gets overheated or stressed. The doctor's note was crystal clear. Gentle rocking outdoors in fresh air keeps her breathing steady without machines. I built it myself. Smooth oak, soft blue cushion, safety straps Emily sewed by hand. We placed it under the big shade tree in the front yard because that's where the breeze hits just right. It wasn't ugly. It wasn't tacky. It was keeping our baby alive. But try explaining that to Patty Hargrove, queen of chapter and verse nonsense. She'd already sent 3 violation notices in 1 week. Unauthorized yard fixture violating Curb Appeal Code 14B. Noise nuisance from infant crying exceeding 55 decibels. Visual disruption to neighborhood harmony. Emily wrote polite letters. Attached the doctor's letter. Even offered to paint the swing the exact approved beige from the HOA color palette. Patty's response? A single sticky note taped to our door. Compliance or consequences. We are a family-friendly community after all. Family-friendly. Right. Because nothing screams we love kids like treating a breathing treatment like gang graffiti. That afternoon I was in the garage organizing tools when I heard Emily scream. I ran out and there they were. Patty in her little golf cart, clipboard in one hand, walkie-talkie in the other, looking like she was directing traffic at the apocalypse. Beside her stood a handler in a black polo, holding the leash of Brutus, a 110-pound attack-certified German shepherd the HOA had hired for enforcement. The dog was locked onto the swing, lips peeled back, growling so low the ground vibrated. Lily was strapped in, eyes wide, starting to whimper, the exact sound that could trigger her airway to close. "Neutralize the motion," Patty ordered, voice sugary sweet like she was asking for decaf. "It's an unapproved structure attracting attention." Too bad for her. The handler hesitated. I saw it in his eyes, the flicker of "this is insane." But Patty hissed again, louder. "Do it." The board authorized full compliance action. I stepped between them before my brain even caught up. Heart hammering, voice low and steady from years of working dogs that could kill in seconds. "Brutus. Out." The dog's entire body jerked like someone yanked an invisible chain. Jaws snapped shut. He took 3 stiff steps backward, ears flat, tail tucked. The handler's mouth fell open. Patty's perfect smile cracked so hard I heard the porcelain chip. "What the how did you?" she sputtered, cheeks flushing under her flawless makeup. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't need to. Because that dog is certified for law enforcement deployment only, ma'am. Which means you just ordered a restricted asset against a civilian infant. Federal violation territory. And I used to train dogs exactly like him. So yeah, I know the commands you're not supposed to be using. For the first time since we moved here, Patty Hargrove had nothing to say. Her clipboard trembled. The handler looked like he wanted the earth to swallow him. Lily's whimper turned into a soft coo as the swing rocked gently again, safe. Emily rushed forward, scooping our daughter into her arms, shaking so hard I had to steady her. Patty finally found her voice, thin and venomous. This isn't over, mister. Read. You've interfered with official enforcement. The board will hear about this. The whole neighborhood will hear about this. She spun her golf cart around so fast the tires squealed on the pavement. The handler dragged Brutus away without a word. I stood there in the front yard, sun beating down, watching neighbors peek through curtains and quickly look away. I thought the nightmare had peaked. I was wrong. It had only just begun. The next morning I woke to the sound of paper slapping against our front door like machine gun fire. 3 bright orange violation notices, fresh ones, taped across the wood, plus 2 more jammed in the mailbox. Aggressive behavior toward HOA security. Unauthorized medical structure endangering community safety. Infant disturbance classified as public nuisance. They'd even added a new one. Failure to maintain approved aesthetic harmony. Swing visible from street. Emily stood behind me holding Lily, both still rattled from yesterday. They're not stopping, she whispered. They're never going to stop. I peeled the papers off slowly, each rip sounding like skin tearing. We spread them across the kitchen table like a war map. I photographed every single one, time-stamped, dated, cataloged. Pattern of harassment. Paper trail. Because I'd learned the hard way 2 years ago, silence gets you nowhere when the rules are written by people who enjoy the sound of their own voice. By noon the street had turned into a ghost town. Neighbors who used to wave now crossed to the other side, clutching their leashed dogs like we might infect them. Mrs. Abernathy actually turned her sprinkler on full blast the second we stepped outside, accidentally soaking our driveway. The couple at number 14 rolled up their windows and stared straight ahead when we walked past. Word travels faster than a golf cart in Willow Creek Estates. Patty had done her job beautifully. She'd painted us as the crazy ones, the parents who'd provoked security and endangered the community by daring to keep their sick baby breathing. Never mind the doctor's note they'd ignored. Never mind that their security dog had been 2 seconds from lunging at an infant. That night the emails started. 30 automated reminders in under 8 hours. Fines stacking, compliance deadlines, threats of liens on the house. Psychological warfare dressed up in legalese. Emily checked every window twice. I sat in the dark living room staring at the swing outside, still swaying softly in the breeze like it was mocking the whole insane system. I could have exploded right then. Could have marched to Patty's perfect McMansion and told her exactly where she could shove her aesthetic harmony. But I didn't. I'd stayed quiet once before, and it almost cost us everything. This time I was going to stay quiet differently, watching, recording, waiting. Because people like Patty don't fall because you yell at them. They fall because you let them build their own gallows out of the rules they worship. And I was about to hand her the rope. The doorbell rang at 9 p.m. Sharp. Another notice slid under the door before I could even answer. I picked it up. Mandatory property inspection tomorrow 8 a.m. Failure to comply equals immediate enforcement escalation. No negotiation. No appeal. Just Patty's signature at the bottom in that curly, fake-friendly script. I didn't sleep. Instead I sat at the kitchen table reviewing every HOA document we'd ever received, cross-referencing with the federal K-9 deployment guidelines I still had saved from my consulting days. Brutus wasn't just any dog. He was certified for law enforcement use only. High risk, restricted, insurance required. Civilian HOAs had zero legal right to deploy him for curb appeal. Patty had just turned our front yard into a federal crime scene and didn't even know it. The next morning she showed up right on time, clipboard in hand, 2 security goons behind her like backup dancers. No Brutus this time, smart. She marched straight to the swing, poked the straps with a pen like it was evidence in a murder trial. Unsafe. Unapproved. Visual pollution, she declared, scribbling furiously. Must be removed by noon or we'll have it professionally disposed of. At your expense, of course. Emily's voice cracked but stayed strong. That swing is a medical necessity. We provided the doctor's note 3 times. Patty didn't even look up. The board reviewed it. Medical exemptions require board approval. Yours was denied. Community standards come first. I stepped forward, calm as a summer day. Community standards also include not using restricted K9 assets on infants. You might want to check Federal Code 18 USC before you keep pushing. Her pen froze. For half a second the mask slipped and I saw real fear. Then the smile snapped back. Threatening a board member? That's another violation right there. The goons started taking photos like we were running a meth lab. Neighbors gathered at the edges of their lawns, pretending to water flowers while they filmed on their phones. Nobody spoke up. Fear is a hell of a muzzle. That afternoon the neighborhood group chat exploded. Messages from Patty herself. Please be advised the Reed family is under review for aggressive behavior. For everyone's safety, maintain distance. Suddenly we were the villains. Even the guy who'd waved at me yesterday now looked away like I'd personally murdered Santa. But not everyone was buying it. Late that night my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. North walkway behind the tennis courts. Midnight. No phones. Signed with a single initial. Steve Harlan, quiet board member who always looked like he was one HOA meeting away from a nervous breakdown. I slipped out after Emily and Lily were asleep. Steve was waiting in the shadows, hands jammed in his pockets, looking like he might throw up. I can't do this anymore, he whispered. Yesterday that dog I voted against it but Patty overruled the whole board. She's been rewriting reports, claiming Lily agitated Brutus. She's even talking about calling CPS, saying you're unfit parents for letting a baby sleep outside. My blood turned to ice. You have proof? Steve nodded, eyes darting. Body cam footage from the handler. He turned his off when Patty ordered the attack, but I left mine running. It caught everything, her exact words, the lunge, your command. She doesn't know I have it. He pressed a tiny flash drive into my hand like it was radioactive. She's scared of you, Marcus. Really scared. You didn't yell. You didn't fight. You just knew the rules better than she does. That terrifies her. I didn't thank him. I just nodded. When this is over, Steve, you're going to sleep again. He disappeared into the dark. I walked home with the flash drive burning a hole in my pocket. That night I uploaded everything, my recordings, the doctor's notes, the federal K9 violation report, to 3 different agencies: Animal Control, the County Licensing Board, and the Federal K9 Oversight Division. I attached Steve's video without naming him. Let the system do what it does best. The next morning the handler showed up at my door in civilian clothes, no uniform, looking haunted. She told everyone you provoked Brutus. That Lily was the threat. I won't lie for her anymore. I'll sign whatever statement you need. 2 allies. A mountain of evidence. And Patty still thought she was winning. The emails from the HOA kept coming. More fines, more lies, more threats of foreclosure. But now every notice felt like a countdown. Because while Patty was busy rewriting reality, the cavalry was already saddling up. By the 3rd day the video was everywhere. Someone, maybe Steve, maybe the handler, had leaked a 30-second clip to the neighborhood parents group. It showed Patty's voice crystal clear. Neutralize the motion. It showed Brutus lunging. It showed my single command dropping him like a puppet with cut strings. Comments flooded in. I knew she was crazy, but this? My kid plays near that swing set. Time for new leadership. Patty tried damage control. She sent out an emergency community update, calling it misinformation, and threatening legal action against anyone sharing it. The golf cart patrol doubled. But it was too late. People were done being scared. Then the white county van showed up. 2 inspectors and a city official in a suit knocked on my door at 10 a.m. Mr. Reed, we're here about the unauthorized K9 deployment and child endangerment complaint. Patty came sprinting down the street in her golf cart, hair flying, screaming that this was her jurisdiction. The official didn't even blink. Ma'am, when a restricted law enforcement animal is deployed against a minor without authorization, it stops being your jurisdiction. Wait outside. They watched the full footage on my laptop. The room went dead silent except for Lily's soft breathing in Emily's arms. The official's face got tighter with every second. This is criminal-level reckless endangerment. We're suspending the HOA's entire security contract immediately. Patty's muffled shrieks outside sounded like a tea kettle having a stroke. That evening came the emergency HOA assembly. The community center was packed. People who hadn't spoken to us in weeks now saved us seats. Patty took the stage in her power blazer, clutching the podium like it might run away. "These vicious lies are tearing our community apart," she began, voice cracking. "The reeds are." Steve stood up from the back row. "I recorded it, Patty. Everything. You ordered an attack on a baby and smiled while you did it." The room erupted. Parents stood. Voices overlapped. "You fined me for my daughter's pink bike. You threatened my disabled mother over a ramp. How many families have you run out?" Patty's face went from red to purple. "This is a conspiracy. You're all being manipulated by." The city official stepped forward. "Ms. Hargrove, pending full investigation, your position is suspended effective immediately. You are removed from all HOA duties." The mic dropped from her hand with a feedback screech that sounded like justice itself laughing. Security, former security, escorted her out while she sputtered every excuse in the book. Neighbors filmed openly now. No one looked away. The next weeks were surreal. Federal charges were filed. Reckless endangerment, unauthorized use of restricted K-9 assets. Patty was barred from ever holding community office again. The swing still sits in our front yard, now painted the exact approved beige just to rub it in. Lily sleeps in it every afternoon, breathing easy, while kids from the whole block come play under the tree. Neighbors wave again. Steve brings over coffee and actually smiles. The group chat is full of normal stuff, block parties, not violation notices. And the old security cameras? I put them back up. Nobody said a word. Willow Creek Estates finally feels like a neighborhood instead of a police state. So here's the question I keep turning over in my head, and I want you to answer honestly in the comments. When an HOA president uses an attack dog on a sick baby and calls it enforcement, who's really the criminal? The parents fighting for their child's life, or the woman who weaponized the rules until the rules turned on her? Because the way I see it, the only real violation here was thinking power like Patty's would never have consequences. If you've ever been bullied by an HOA Karen, drop your story below. Smash subscribe for more stories where the little guy finally hits back. And remember, sometimes the sweetest sound in the suburbs isn't a perfectly mowed lawn. It's the sound of a tyrant's clipboard hitting the floor. See you in the next one.